Seconds out.
To have the EBU title in the States, as long as the European officials were in, the European supervisors. So we did all the work, went through all of that, and then only to be told, okay, everything is set, that by Rodriguez team, that, hey, you know what, our guy's not ready. He's not going to be ready until April or May. So I thought they were just, what do you guys say, taking the piss? I thought they were taking the piss with me, you know, and so I was kind of angry, you know, because I was already starting to train in the gym and whatnot. And I had remembered David HAYE had told me maybe a couple weeks before, hey, you know, what do you think of fighting on the March 4th bill with me and BELLEW? And I thought it was just talk, you know. I thought it was, yeah, no problem. But I knew in my mind I was already negotiating for the fight in New York. But I was like, yeah, I'll keep an open mind. And, you know, after I got the call with Rodriguez not being ready, I didn't even think about HAYE in the moment. I remember it was during the day, and I said, man, now I'm going to take a couple of days off from the gym and just relax because, you know, I probably got to wait until April or May. And then I got a text message from David HAYE literally that same night, later that day, and he said, hey, you know, I think we can make the fight. You know, I've been talking to Eddie and whatnot, so, you know, we worked everything out, and so, you know, I've got to thank David HAYE and Haymaker Ringstar, and I've got to thank Eddie Hearn and Matchroom for really making it happen, and obviously Al Heyman, my main advisor on my team, you know, was always working diligently and hard for me. You know, without everyone's help involved, I wouldn't have been able to get on this card. And it's cool. I'm very appreciative. You know, I've said before, early in my career, I look at big cards like this, and I always looked at myself as, I belong here. It's nothing special. You almost don't enjoy the moment. You almost don't enjoy the ride because you're on the wave and you're so in the moment. You're not enjoying the ride. But now, you know, as I get these opportunities and I look around and I say, wow, man, I blink and I'm 36, and I say, man, you know what? I really got to take a stop for a second, really appreciate all this and appreciate it as it's going on around me. And especially, there's no better place in the world to fight than the UK, on a Matchroom card, no less. You know, I mean, I really say that with all truthfulness. You know, there's cards in the UK, and then there's Matchroom cards. You know, these cards are something out of the ordinary. You know, something crazy special. And you know, to be able to be a part of it in the co-main event against a fighter that a lot of people are high on here in the UK. You know, I understand that Sam Eggington is a home fighter, and I understand he'll probably have the crowd backing him. But for me, it's more about the energy of the crowd and the fact that the crowd is involved, and no crowd gets involved better than does a UK crowd, and that's kind of the fun part about performing in front of these kind of fans.
Paulie, you normally spend your time analysing other fights, so how have you analysed Sam Eggington? What are his strengths? What does he bring to the table, and how do you overcome them on Saturday?
You know, I don't want to be over-analytical, so, you know, I try not to overthink, because sometimes you set yourself out thinking. But, you know, I think Sam is a durable, workman-like kind of fighter, you know, who's steadily improving. I know I saw a couple of videos. I saw the Ski fight, and then I saw the Gavin fight, and I distinctly saw a couple of adjustments that were made, you know, and you got to give him credit, because if this is a kid that really started boxing 4 years ago, that means he started boxing when I was a world champion. You know what I'm saying? So you know, it's a lot of progress he's made in 4 years, and frankly, under normal circumstances, I would think, wow, they're rushing this guy. He just put on a pair of boxing gloves the first time 4 years ago, and now he's you know, moving on to this level. You know, there's no need to rush him at 23 years old, but he's, you know, he's shown he's durable, and he's shown he's the goods. You know, he got a solid result in his last fight with Frankie Gavin. I think that certainly surprised some people, and it certainly got a lot of people's attention. And so, yeah, you know, at that point, you have to kind of ride the momentum. You know, you can't go backwards. That's the thing about stepping up. When you step up and you win, you can no longer go backwards. So they took the chance, they stepped up, they won. So now they've got to kind of keep moving up. So I totally get it, I totally understand it. And I know the kind of fight I'm dealing with. Obviously, I've seen pretty much everything at this point in my career, so it's not like I'm in for any surprises. But at the same time, you know, you do have to work and put in the solid work behind the solid game planning you have, and execute the game plan.
Yeah, you've been in with the big names, obviously, Cotto and Khan and Hatton and Garcia and Porter and Broner, everybody really in the sport. You've won your last three at a lower level. How long do you want to do this for?
I don't know. I take it one fight at a time. I just enjoy it as it comes along. As I said before, you know, sometimes I wasn't enjoying it before. You know, I was so in the moment, just feeling like I belonged among the elite, and just, you know, looking at what do I want to do, what am I going to do. And now it's more like I've slowed things down around me, and I say, you know what, enjoy every single moment, you know, and then look at afterwards when you get to afterwards. There's no need to rush and look at afterwards until you get there, right? I mean, there's really no need to look ahead until you get there. You know, when you're young, you're always in a rush for some reason. You don't realize that, you know, you actually have time. So you know, I'm not really looking at what the long-term goal is. I'm looking at Saturday night to execute my game plan, execute a fine strategy that we've put in place with me and my coach Luis Perez, Orlando Carrasquillo. Execute a fine game plan, and hope to really put on a good performance, a magnificent performance in front of my favorite fans in the world.
Fantastic to have you with us, Paulie. What a great lineup on Saturday.